What if I told you the way it has always been done is not the best way? Facing your fears will change your life. The passion behind this journey is merging two separate worlds into one with the goal of creating value and awareness for a better life.
I'd rather be sidelined trying to achieve greatness than watch greatness achieved and it only set on the sideline. Now introducing your host, Jacob Emery.
This episode of the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast is brought to you by Unlocking Greatness with Jacob Emery, a coaching community built for those ready to become the strongest version of themselves. Weekly calls, proven playbooks, and a community built to grow. Greatness is not given, it's unlocked. Join us today at jacobemery.com or DM coach at jacobemery44 on all social media platforms. Welcome back to another edition of the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast. Today's guest is a IFBB pro and the owner, CEO of Fireproof Fitness, Beckyn Mickelson. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me back. I'm excited to be back.
Let's talk about, got to get right into it because I think this is a hot topic for the both of us. Let's talk about victim mentality and lack of self-awareness that some people have in today's world.
Yes, let's. Victim mentality is the number one thing I believe that holds people back.
This episode of the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast is brought to you by R&R Pipeline Inc., an infrastructure company. Join our team today at rrpipelineinc.com. Why? Like, what does it look like? Explain to the listeners what this thing is that we're talking about.
All right, well, I'll give you an example of something that recently happened to me. I had this client. So I do 6-month contracts with my clients because, let's be honest, people are not making like long-term progress in less than that amount of time. It just doesn't work. And so I have people sign 6-month contracts, and then this woman signed up 4 weeks into her contract. Not even. She started being flaky, and it was just like all the excuses. The worst excuses I've ever heard in my 3 years of coaching. And it's just like, oh, I can't do this. I'm having blood pressure spikes because this is causing me so much stress. Like, I asked you over the span of 4 weeks working together to track 100 grams of protein a day.
Raise that blood pressure up. Woo!
Like, that doesn't even make sense. What in the world? Like, just the things that people come up with to get out of doing something that they don't want to do is asinine.
That's probably a new PR on the scale of pathetic. I'll just say that. That's pretty bad. Thinking that tracking 100 grams of protein, which can be done in about 30 seconds throughout a day, pretty low bar set for blood pressure spike.
Yeah, one would think. This is no longer a client anymore. I wouldn't drag a client that I have like this, by the way.
Well, and that's the thing too, as a coach, the clients are going to set what that environment overall looks like. You set the standard, but the environment set by the group, and the quality of the group cannot be brought down by one individual or a few individuals.
Yeah.
One bad apple can spoil the bunch. And it's interesting, as I'm sure you've realized, when you transition as a coach and you get better, you raise your standards, you raise your prices to match, and your quality of client also comes up too. And it takes some time, but once that gets in place, it's got to be so much nicer to have responsive clients. They do what you say, they listen, they don't make excuses. But the ones that just make an excuse about why they can't, ultimately, what has to be true for you to do this? And having a pulse, it sounds like, is something that has to be true. And that's maybe a bare minimum that you're running into.
Bare minimum. I mean, not typically. Most of my clients, I have 35 clients right now, and they're all awesome. And
that's got to be extremely rewarding.
Yeah, it really is, especially just from the beginning of starting a business and figuring out what I'm doing as I went along. Like you said, you do raise your standards and the standard of people that you come in. I mean, obviously I had no idea that person would end up being like that. But sometimes they slip through the cracks.
Yeah, sometimes you don't let, but they slip through the cracks, like you said. It's kind of like hiring somebody inside of a business. You you can look at the resume, they can interview great, and they can praise themselves in these certain areas, even have good references, but then getting into the day to day, the grit, the grime of it, and then they are a complete opposite of what was presented. So you've recently hired someone as well. So Fireproof Fitness is no longer just a one man band. It's got a little
Yeah.
bit of growth coming in, right?
Yeah. Yep. I believe it was June that I officially hired her. And I had been thinking about it for a while. I actually met her when I was getting ready to do my first show in 2020. We just like met online in some random Facebook group, and she helped me with my posing. And we've been friends ever since. She's helped me in my Facebook group just with engagement, and that's
Mhm.
been for free. And then I had a day, I mean, I thought about it before, but I wasn't like ready. But then I had one day where I was just like, everybody was up, all my clients were up my ass. I'm like, I need some help. Like, I can't be
Mhm.
doing this all on my own. So she's taken over a lot of the administrative stuff and a lot of stuff that I don't like doing, which has
Yeah.
been just totally game changing in 1 month.
It's got to be incredible to go from ground zero in a couple years, 35 clients. That's a remarkable feat in itself. And to navigate that by yourself, hats off to you because that has to be very difficult. One person in a business means that you don't take vacations without having obligations. You don't get to do all these luxury things in life without having to be the person to do the thing. And so being able to scale business is great, but if you're scaling your own capacity or minimizing your own capacity of what you're actually capable of doing, it doesn't have very much fulfillment at the end of it because you're probably lesser quality output of yourself to your clients. And then the results aren't there. The group feeling isn't there. So bringing in that hire has to be very empowering for yourself. So hats off to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been good. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm focusing on right now is just my client experience and making sure that they get the attention that they need from me and that they get results. Um, because I was trying to do all of the things, and I feel like I can focus more on them. And I don't think I don't personally want to take any more than 35 clients at a time.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to handle. And you want to make sure that you're providing the quality from yourself that's going to transform, your client base the way that you transformed your own life. You
Mm-hmm.
know, go through a massive life transition. You move to Ohio, which is where we met at the gym. And then, a few years later, you're an IFBB pro, which we'll get to in a minute. And then starting your own business, you're self-employed, you're dominating life. And that's, to have that thing right in front of you that just weighed you down, held you back, and then you just went for it. It's hard to have empathy or sympathy for people that are a victim when their own the mirror is their biggest problem. Their own self, their excuses, their mindset. A lot of it is mental. A lot of what we face as challenges is mental. And outside of death, really every issue in our life, every failure is nothing more than psychological. It's how we navigate that time frame to get through it. What's been the biggest driving force for you to be able to go through that transition, keep grounded and not make the thing worse, and then, come out the way that you have now with a whole new lease on life?
I feel like moving away from my hometown, and as much as I love my family, like moving away and having to be on my own was really game changing because used to have like crazy anxiety.
Mhm.
And I like it's just doing the things like getting thrown into the fire and you have no choice but to do it. Like I think I said on the last podcast we did, like I didn't have an option to fail. I wasn't gonna like get divorced and then try to start a business and let that fail. Like no siree, I'm way too stubborn to do that, first of all. So it was really, like, you just have to start. And then once I kind of like, I was anxiety ridden and insecure. And once I finally figured out like who I am and what I wanted to do with my life, and that I'm able to impact other people and change their lives, that has given me so much confidence in myself, and the anxiety just, like, things are not a big deal anymore. We don't worry
Having,
about things that we can't control. That's like, I feel bad saying that to people sometimes because I get it. Like, I've been there, but it's like, dude, you just, like, you're way overthinking this.
yeah, just in general life, it's what are the controllables? What are the things that you can control? And if you can't directly control that outcome, why focus on it? Because it's just going to take from you. And we are a byproduct of our most dominant thoughts and feelings. So what we focus on, what we think about more often than not, what our environments like will like show the outcome of what we do or don't do. And looking back, it's kind of like a mathematical equation. You connect dots and then you can see like this plus this led me here. And you can't really forecast that in the future, but when you get some level of success and like incremental success, what was going on when I had this peak level of getting what I wanted out of life? You know, what kind of shape was I in? What kind of content did I consume? And what you focus on expands. And it's as true as anything in the world. You focus on this thing being a good outcome, that's what will happen. If you focus on negativity, you're going to get negativity. So the compound effect with Darren Hardy, it's one of my favorite personal development books, but he talks about garbage in, garbage out, quality in or quality out. If you consume quality, you're going to put it back out into the world. But if you consume garbage, you're going to do the same. A lot of time, like in what you went through, your mess is your message. So sharing your story and being relatable. You're an IFBB pro, the successful business entrepreneur. A lot of people can't relate to that, but they don't know the person that was there 4 years ago. And hearing that mess of a story that we all have, sharing that story is what ultimately empowers others to take the second to step back, empower themselves to believe a little bit that they're worthy, and then let you drive them there and get them there where they want to be at. So what's been the most empowering thing, I think, for your clients to see from you with that authenticity that's helped them out?
I think, I mean, recently I haven't even been like really tracking my food, and I haven't been putting a big emphasis on the gym. But I mean, even before, I mean, right after I got my pro card last year, I like to go out, and I like to like go out to eat and have drinks, and I'm just myself. And I think that, like, seeing that you can do that and still look a certain way, and just like the vibe that I give off has helped a lot of my clients.
Don't be
Or
so
at
fucking
least
serious,
drawn them to me.
right? Yeah. Don't be so fucking serious. Like life
Right.
isn't that serious sometimes. Just chill out, Regina. Chill out, Karen. Have a fucking cocktail and be quiet, but make sure you get up and get on the treadmill tomorrow. And like having dysfunction in life isn't the end all be all as long as you have all the discipline before that. And it takes years, you know, myself, 15 or 20 years of working out on and off. And the last 5 to 10, I've been really dialed in, and I don't track my food anymore, but I went through all them pain points, and it's getting to the point of being consistent with it. The end goal isn't to have to do that shit forever. It's to set the benchmark and know what you have to do. And then, you know, there's going to be times where you're probably going to go back and start tracking again, but there's times where you don't have to. You understand your body well enough to be intuitive. That's the end all be all goal for, you know, most people, unless you're strictly competitor or whatever it is. But you got to start by putting in the foundational work. If you're going to try to build a skyscraper on a beach in Florida on that pile of sand, it's probably going to fall down pretty fucking quick. So you got to do the foundational work to get there. Sequencing equals success. You cannot start at a high level if you don't have the foundational basics in place and doing them consistently.
Right.
And then I would say keeping it simple. Simple scales, complex fails. So what are the things that you have your clients start with just to keep it simple and not to let them overburden themselves with their victim mentality and the complexity of what could be out there with all the information available today.
I mean, the number one thing is water for sure. I mean, some people are drinking 16 ounces of water a day and wondering why they feel like dog shit. So it's always that. And then I have them start with protein, like tracking protein. And usually it is 100 grams a day if they're not anywhere near that. And that's like the number one thing that makes a plus water a huge difference right away. So protein and water week 1 and
Holy shit.
onward
I don't
if
know
they're
how.
not getting it. So just like building that up and like the foundation, like that's your foundation.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you set such a high bar for people to start out like that.
It makes a lot of people have blood pressure go up.
Oh, yeah. That's just a mystery, isn't it?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But on like with the simplicity thing, it's you gotta focus, keep the main thing, because they'll hear that, but they've heard all of this other stuff wherever on Instagram, on TikTok, like, oh, should I be doing this to tone my inner thighs? Like, what? No, just like do what I fucking told you to do. Keep the main thing. I mean, this is like the same chick that I was like telling her to eat 100 grams of protein and drink, I think it was 40 ounces of water. And she then asked me, like, what's a good, like, pre-workout meal? I'm like, the fuck are you asking me that? Like, it doesn't matter right now. You're not even working out.
Not even tracking food at that point, probably, right?
No.
That's
I mean,
unreal.
she's supposed to be.
Well, supposed to be and actually doing, I guess, would be a little bit
I mean,
different.
like, what supplements should I take? Like, can you
Water.
focus on what I'm telling you to do
Yeah.
first? And then if we get to the point where maybe something isn't working, then we can talk about supplements or your hormones. But if you are not doing the things that you're supposed to be doing consistently and hitting your macros and your micros maybe and like fiber, then and water, then we're not gonna fuck with anything else.
Well, and like, supplements would be probably 4th or 5th on this, if even that, on a scale of importance, because you got your hydration, you got your sleep and recovery, nutrition, all of them things come before supplementation. Supplementation is nothing more than having a deficit and then fulfilling that deficit to where it should be. Not this profound like thing that you have to have.
Right. The one that that I would recommend to everyone is creatine. But that's not like life changing.
No, but it's more known now than I think it's ever really been based on data that it is a staple for sure.
And electrolytes.
Yeah. And then vitamin D in cold weather states. I know that's something I would recommend blood work first, but that was something I struggled with for a long time, that seasonal depression and, not being exposed to the sun for 6 or 8 months, which you have too in Minnesota. 6-8 months of the year, we don't see the sun basically. So
the blood work thing too, like I'm not just going to tell you to take this if you don't have your labs done. Like,
right.
Don't talk to me about your hormones preventing you from losing weight if you haven't gotten your blood work done. Come to me with your blood work and we can talk about it.
Right. It's like, okay, my car's not doing well. My check engine light comes on. I'm not going to go change a tire because I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, I'm not going to do some random thing, throw it at it and see if it maybe does or doesn't work. And then how do you even know if it's something that you're putting in your body? You're really not going to know unless you overdo it, have some adverse side effect, if it's actually working or not, if it's a deficit. So it's insane the amount of money that people will spend on throwing something at the wall that never sticks. It's like throwing a bowling ball against the wall. It's not going to stick. And they won't invest in themselves, though, and do the thing that's actually going to work. So victim mentality, I think, is just expecting something to be easy, blaming the world for your own problems. Life is a mirror, not a window. If you're looking out the window, blaming the outside world for your own internal problems, you need to get a mirror in front of your face and look through it, look at it.
It's like, I was thinking about going on my Instagram story and talking about this the other day, but it's like, it's embarrassing to you. Like, for you to be constantly talking about how miserable you are and how much you want to lose weight and how much you want to look a certain way, but you're literally not doing anything about it. No one around you wants to hear the fucking story anymore. Just do the goddamn work.
And no one cares either.
Like, these women are always like, I better talk to my husband about the investment. Dude, I guarantee your husband wants you to feel
Yes.
confident in your body.
Yeah. Chunky Monkey, he wants you to lose 50. Like, drop the 50. He wants you to do it.
Right.
Yeah. And I think, society in itself has created this expectation that's just completely unrealistic, because you have Ozempic and these weight loss pills and all these shortcuts and these gurus that are, drop 50 pounds in 90 days. All of them things are not going to work long term. If it takes you so long to gain the excess weight that you are carrying around, it's going to take a while to take it off and do it the right way.
Yeah.
I know people that yo-yo diet all the time, and it's catastrophically worse after they stop it, because they gain more weight back. They crash their metabolism even worse. And then the desire to do anything is 10 times worse, because you have, cortisol spike, thyroid issues, you have hormone dysfunction. Like, it is so much worse. And if you just take 1 or 2 steps a day instead of trying to run 100 one day, it's actually pretty easy. Consistency over intensity is what I always preach. Do the thing that you need to do every day. And then I have what I call, it's a 3S solution, but keep it simple. Drink your water. Schedule time in your calendar or time throughout your day to do the thing that you're supposed to do. Drinking water, you just do it throughout the day, but by 5:00 p.m., you have a gallon of water, down, whatever the metric would be. And then put stakes around it. So what are the stakes if you do it? So for 30 days, I drink a gallon of water, and this is what I'm going to go get myself as a reward. Yeah. But if I don't, I have to do something that I despise doing. And I always use the example in the coaching program, which you're a part of. If this person goes and does the thing for 30 days, then they can go out to dinner or whatever they want to do. And I always use the example for the guys. If, you don't do the thing in 30 days, you got to shave your head. And so it's something that, someone like myself who has a head of hair and a big ass ugly head without it, I don't want to shave my head. So I'm going to do the thing. It's just something to keep you going, where there is a backlash if you don't do that thing. And like for women, it could be, if I don't do this in 30 days, I'm not going to wear makeup for a week. And so it's something that would just get you kind of uncomfortable. And it's enough to say that day that you forget, or it's a trigger to remind you, hey, I got to get that shit down, because I don't want to go bald with no makeup on for a week.
Right. Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, if I was implementing that, I would tell myself, well, you either get to go shopping or you don't get to go shopping. You get to get your lips done or you don't get to get your lips done. Like something like that. I think
it's a preference to the person, but just something where it's like going to bug you if you don't do the thing.
Right.
And in all reality, you shouldn't have to put you shouldn't have to gamble with yourself to do it, but it does help as a reminder to keep that there, and putting it in your calendar too. Like a reminder in your calendar, we use technology all the time. We should be able to put it in our calendar to remind ourselves of that. So I think that's definitely an easy takeaway. And then the focus part, finish one course until successful. Don't go on to all the other crazy shit. The main thing, like you said, just finish the one thing until it's no longer a thing to implement. It's a habit in place. Mm-hmm. What is it like now for Fireproof Fitness owner Beckyn Mickelson, the IFBB Pro, post show life? Last year, you went on a binger, knocked out all these different shows, became a pro, then placed top 10 in your pro debut the same night of getting your overall and winning your class and becoming a pro, which that's like the trifecta of greatness right there. What's it been like ever since that? And then what's been your focus for the last 6 months of the year?
So post show, I just kind of transitioned back into, I moved right away, and then I was in a new area. And I was still like tracking food and whatnot. I didn't reverse as amazingly as I probably should have, as far as like building calories up slowly. But I felt I was already at that point where I wasn't focused on food. Like I wasn't worried about going and like putting 20 pounds on in a week. So it was fine. But then, a couple months later, a couple months later, then I launched Fireproof Fitness and really transitioned into like business mode. So that's what I was focused on. I wasn't loving the gym really anymore. I wasn't as focused on tracking my food. I wasn't doing all of the things that one should be doing if they're trying to do their compete in a pro show the next year. And I realized I think it was January, I finally told my coach and best friend, Kiki, like, hey, I think I just need to step back from like having to check in and having these protocols to follow. Like I want to see what feels good for me, like doing my own macros, still focusing on building at that point. And then it just kind of turned into me like eating intuitively. And even so I got my Invisalign in April and I was planning on doing a cut then just to, cause I had been like building and, wanted to do a cut. And then even then I did it for like a month and then started traveling for other people's shows. But I realized like, I really don't care that much about this right now. Like it's not that important to me to be doing this strict cut right now. And really I was force feeding myself still anyways. So then I just kind of stopped tracking in April and that has felt really good. And not putting so much pressure on the gym, because that was kind of a struggle for me. Even during my prep last year, I was just like, oh my god, I don't want to fucking go to the gym. So now I go to 4 or 5 times a week. I just go down to my apartment gym and get like a 40-minute workout in, and I feel great.
So interesting. I was in powerlifting mode for a while, and finally a few years ago, I did my first meet and, I came off of torn pec that set me back 6 months, had a bunch of injuries going into it. I was like 60% probably best going into that meet. And then me and Corey both kind of transitioned almost simultaneously where it was not like methodical. It was just kind of a body weight, higher rep, higher volume, shorter amount of time. And he calls it the pump 30, but basically time under tension for 30 minutes, you can make the workouts as hard as you make them. So you can go slower, but some days they're brutal because there's a ton of reps, and it's all time under tension. So it's in and out pretty quick. I mean, today I left the gym at like 4:45. I was in at 3:45, started my workout, did a 15, 20-minute warm up and cool down, but got it in between and that was it. And it wasn't really this strategic plan. It was just like the right fit. And now I don't even think about it. So it takes all the stress away from that prep and that grind and that tracking and these dialed in details because of a desired outcome. There is a point in time where you're not on cruise control. You just know how to navigate the waters better and you're more in tune with what you need to do in the season of it. And probably similar for you, but my business, season has been longer than expected. And there's been a couple of years of up and down, not seeing the downs coming, and then the ups quit coming for a while. And like the capacity and the time spent there, my training ground, I actually raised the bar of what I was doing as far as capacity in the morning goes, but it wasn't strategic. It was just redialing in discipline. And now it's just like that next step of the lifestyle that it's thoughtless. It's a thankless thing. I don't thank God because I'm not that damn smart, but I don't have to turn my brain on until 7 o'clock most mornings because it's just autopilot where I know how to navigate the waters better. I know how to do this thing and it's what's best for me in this season. Probably same for you. It's your season of business. That's your competition right now. And then the support for your clients is also it. So that's your primary focus. It's going to be hard to do that competition and be the best version of yourself for the growth of them other things. And now look at your business growth. I mean, this year's sounds like it's been profound growth. You launched your new business. You got your brand in place. Like you're dialed in now. Now, maybe next year, are you going to start competing again? Maybe. Is that on the docket or are you still unsure?
I'm not sure. I believe I would have to spend some time building again because I'm sure I've lost a decent amount of muscle, but I also know that that would come back quickly if I ate the food and did the training. So it's not something I'm like worried about, but I mean, I don't want to say I'm never going to compete again. That is for sure.
Well, and the level of competition is as high as it gets. There is no higher level of competition. You're at the highest level that you can be for your competitive sport.
Mm-hmm.
What's that like? Like there is no higher platform that you can go to than where you're at on the stage that you are, currently in place to be. Like that has to be very fulfilling and very, very rewarding to show that in 5 years or whatever it was of time that you started pursuing this thing, you went from not knowing a damn thing to staying on the stage being IFBB pro. That's a very short time span.
Yeah, I guess I haven't really gotten to experience it that much yet, other than my pro debut last year, which I feel was just, I was already like just so stoked from the day from getting my pro card. So it was already like a high. So I don't know what it would feel like to do my like legitimate pro debut.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I'd be a little nervous.
I would say probably naturally you would have to be, but at the same time too, is there ever a greater feat of accomplishment to be had in one day than that? It's almost from the outside perspective looking in, like you went and tore it apart on this day. Like that is a, game 7, last 10 seconds of the game, and you're taking the winning shot to win. It's a very like rare thing that you did. And then getting on that stage too, which I don't think that's common, is it, to win your pro card and be on that pro stage?
I think that's the only one that the only show that they do that for. And last year, actually, because junior, that show just happened again a couple of weeks ago. Last year, I think 7 out of the 8 new pros did their pro debut that night, but I really don't think many people did it this year, which is interesting to me.
Why
Like,
would you not? Yeah, I mean, there's 0 to lose because no expectation, and then you go out like you did, and you got 10th. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Out of how many people on that stage that day? Like 40 at that point?
I think there was maybe 30. I don't think it was 40.
That's still a lot.
It was a lineup, yeah.
And I don't know how many competitors, how they were bracketed or whatever, but how many actual previous pros did you actually place in front of? Was there quite a few?
Well, there was 9 in front of me, so the rest of them, I mean, probably.
How many of them were first time pros like you though? Was there any other?
Or 6 or 7.
So quite a few. So there was more that were behind you as already being a pro than in front of you as long tenure pros, basically.
I think so.
Pretty incredible feat. Now the curiosity's got you. So you built something powerful. Congratulations on all your success. Fireproof Fitness, CEO and owner. I don't know what your title is. I'm assuming one of the two, and then you hired someone in the business. You dominated on stage last year. Mountaintop's looking pretty good. That view is looking pretty good, but it all came from the years in the training ground. So holding up the trophies, it's great, but it doesn't come without a cost in the training room. So what's the go-to for you whenever things get tough? What is that, like that thing that snaps you right back into the right frame of mind? Is there anything that you have that has just in a heartbeat you can shift your focus back into doing the thing?
I gotta support my cat. I don't really know. I don't really know that that there's one particular thing that snaps me back into it. It's just one of those things. I just have to do what I need to do.
Yeah, I was just curious because there's sometimes for me, like perspective on life, I'll look at the thing in front of me and I'll say, all right, what is the absolute worst possible case scenario? Is it going to kill me? Am I going to, not be able to walk tomorrow, not be able to see, just all the crazy shit that could happen. What's the worst possible thing? And can I live with that? Or is that even like possible to happen? And then if it doesn't, it's like, okay, what's the worst case scenario? Oh, I stubbed my damn toe. I have a broken toe tomorrow. Okay, big fucking deal. I got 9 other ones. I'm good. Let's move forward. Sometimes just that reality check is everything that I need to reset. The Gap and the Gain, the book by Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan. It's a subtle reminder of that for me sometimes. So highly recommend that book. Do you have any questions for the host? You're in the coaching program, Unlocking Greatness. So just wanted to give you a chance to, as we close out today, do you got any questions for the host? Do impromptu something
Yeah,
here.
I mean, what advice would you give to someone starting their own business?
Just start. I think, like in the coaching business for myself, I had a purpose and a passion to do it. I needed to know I could just do it. I'm more advanced in the business side of things now, so I have a lot more understanding of business in general, but you got to have a reason to do it. You know, what's the purpose behind being a business owner? Do you want to serve other people? Do you want to create change in an industry? Do you want to colonize Mars? Create, a different platform for automobile industry like Tesla with Elon Musk? You got to have a reason to do it, and that reason can't be purely financial. It can be freedom. It can be a lot of different things, but if you're going into business to get rich, you're never going to get rich because you're going into it for the wrong reasons. So go into it for the right reasons, know what you really want out of it, and then you just got to start. And that might be starting to understand the industry. It doesn't mean jumping into the fire with cinder blocks on your legs and getting beat the hell out of you without having any clue what to do. But you got to have a starting point and you got to commit to it. I call it Pursuit 151. 100% commitment is a non-negotiable. 51% of confidence, though. So you only have to be 51% confident. That means that you have to understand it enough to be confident at 51%, but you got to commit and be all in. If you're going to half-ass it, that's what you're going to get out of it.
Right. Do you feel like a lot of people will spend way too much time doing research and thinking him and Han before they start something?
I think it's the reason most people never start a business, never go into business. If you're looking for the best plan to go into business or the best plan to start a weight loss journey, there is no perfect plan for anything in life, and any plan that you put in place will likely change by the second or third step. Have a desired outcome, so know exactly crystal clear what you want it to become at the end. Set a time frame there, and then you got to know the first step, and then you just start.
With the crystal clear approach, how do you implement that with your program?
So you got to know where you're at. You got to know where you're going, and you got to know the reason you want it, but you got to get specific. I call it the clear framework. You got to have clarity about the outcome. What is the thing that I want? Black and white. I want to achieve X. And you got to be able to look at it and say, this was done or not done. So it has to be crystal clear on that outcome. Do you need to learn anything? Do you have the ability to do it? What all do you need to learn? What resources do you need? What thing is going to set you back and not be able to get to the destination that you have in place? Then you have to empower yourself. Believe that you can do this thing. You got to know that you're there with it. And you got to put an end date in place. So the E is end date. The end date is going to be the thing. In 3 years, I want to achieve X, and I have to learn this amount of stuff to do it. And a lot of people were unwilling to know or unwilling to put the work in to get that crystal clear outcome.
What do you think the best way to get a crystal clear vision for yourself and starting, like if you wanted to start a business, what would that be? How would you do that?
I think you got to look at the vision part and what's the specific outcome that you're looking for. What is the reason that you want to start the business? What's the time frame? What do you want it to feel like? Setting a goal for 5 years to 20 years, whatever it is, but what's that perfect day scenario kind of look like? So you got to establish a specific vision, and then you got to put time frame in mind. So for me at 22, I said, I'm going to own Armor Pipeline by 30. Mine wasn't strategic. It was more delusional, but I did that because it set a benchmark. This has to be accomplished in this time frame. And so it was that thing that said, all right, I'm going to do this or not do this by 30. Own our pipeline, 30 years old. So it was specific with the time around it. And then you got to find the belief. You have to believe that it's possible. Unless physics says it's not possible, unless it's by fact or by law, by physics, unless that's deeming it impossible, it is possible. So you got to develop the reality for yourself that I can do this. Empower yourself to believe that it's possible, and know that you are worthy of going and getting the dream that you want to have in your life. And then just picture what that life would feel like. So what's it feel like? Take a minute to think about it, this vision, this time, and then having that all go into the belief.
Love it.
And then just to keep it simple, what, you focus on expands like we started the show with earlier. Look at it every day. Make it the wallpaper on your phone. Review that dream that you have for your life daily, a few times a day. Look at it. Think about it often. Spend the first couple hours of your day pursuing that thing, doing something to get you closer to it, keeping the momentum in place every day to get closer to that ultimate outcome. And then the ability to say, no, I am not going to do this because that doesn't fit my dream. No, I'm not going to do this because that's taken away from my dream. So making sure if you say yes, it's going to fit the path to getting that dream. And when, we talked about focus earlier just on the small things, when them small things become staples in your daily life, that big thing eventually becomes a reality.
I think just on the saying no to things, that's been a big thing, a big realization for me owning a business. Like, say no to things that don't align with you. Like, I could easily start some 30-day bullshit and sell that, but that is not how I want to have a lasting impact on people. So saying no to things that don't align with your vision and aren't you can't just focus on the money, like you said. If you're in it to get rich, it's not going to happen.
Most people that start out in entrepreneurship do it because of wanting to serve other people. They want to change an industry because of something they experienced. A lot of it comes from a rooted environmental thing that set us back in life, and we want to help other people overcome that. For myself, I want to help the person 20 years ago that didn't have someone to look up to. Now I want to go be that person for other people that dead or in jail, but 21 was my ceiling of success. I want to let other people know that's not their ceiling, that they can choose to do whatever they want in life. They just got to believe it's possible and then go after it.
With help.
With help.
Hiring a coach.
Like a coach.
Right.
When you pay attention. And the biggest confidence boost, the biggest thing you can do to empower yourself is to pay someone else to help you get there. There is not a single successful person alive that I've ever met that did not invest in themselves to get better. And the biggest and highest net worth, the best entrepreneurs that I've been coached by or that are out there will all tell you they spend a lot of money investing in themselves to get where they're at, and they will continue to invest in themselves to get where they're going.
Yep. Yeah, so if anyone's listening and is thinking about joining the Unlocking Greatness coaching program, I would highly suggest it. I've been a part of it since you started it, and in the past, I've run a couple business ideas past Jake, and my business has just the mentality and, so I think like a woman, and sometimes it's good to hear a man's perspective on business as well. But my business has gone from 0 to 12K months in 3 years. So I appreciate your guidance.
Well, it's often just being coachable is tough for a lot of people. Like being, told that what feels good might not be factual good for business. And then I always use the analogy of climbing a skyscraper, but whenever you're pursuing something, always have one hand up, looking for someone to help you get there, and then always take someone with you. So one hand up, one hand down, and make sure that you're helping other people, serving other people along the way on your own journey. And I think life will bring it all full circle back to you. And what's interesting is as we pursue these things, I heard this quote the other day, or the stat, that once you get up to the mountaintop, so become an IFBB pro, you get on the mountaintop, 80% of mountain climbers. So mountain climbing is a very dangerous thing. 80% of injuries actually occur on the way down. A lot of people don't have a plan after they achieve this great level of success. And so for you, hats off to you on all your success, coming back down off that mountaintop and still kicking ass, just on a different mountain.
Appreciate it.
Where can the listeners find you at? What'd you say?
I was just gonna say I'm still on the mountaintop. I don't know what you're talking about.
Just a different mountain, right? Just the business side now. Yeah. Where can they find you at?
You can find me on Instagram at Beckyn_IFBB Pro.
Woo. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again. What was that?
At Beckyn_IFBB Pro.
There you go.
That's how and I have a podcast with my coach / best friend as well. I guess she's just my best friend now instead of my coach. But that's called the Champagne Danes podcast. So
heard it here first, folks. Check it out.
Appreciate you having me on.
Beckyn, appreciate your time. This has been another edition of the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast with the IFBB Pro and owner of Fireproof Fitness, Beckyn Mickelson. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we're out. This episode of the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast is brought to you by R&R Pipeline Inc., an infrastructure company. Join our team today at rrpipeleineinc.com.